You all right?
Oh, goodness. Breathe deep. Comfy? We're good?
Yeah, all good. All
awesome.
Good.
So, welcome to Northeast PA.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
We're happy to have you here at Lattes with Louis. We all kind of had some lattes today. So that leads me to my very first thing. It's going to be an easy peasy one. What's your latte order?
Double shot latte, whole milk. I don't like any of those weird milks.
Oh, no. You're just straight up, right? Okay,
yeah,
all right.
Traditionalist. Yeah.
That's fair. I like it. So I got to talk to you first of all about your Away From Home festival. Now you curate that festival. It's huge. Just headlined it Spain last month.
Yep. Almost
20,000 people there. Can you tell me where this came from? A little bit more about the event?
Yes, that was the second year we've done it this year. The first year was put on basically as a thank you to the fans, really. It was a free gig, the first one. An idea I'd had over lockdown. Originally, I dreamt and hoped we could do it every year, but I didn't know what the reaction would be. But like this year, it was a proper success, and the growth from the first year to the second year this year, it's just been amazing. So hopefully I'm gonna do it every year.
That'd be amazing. Thank you. Yeah, that does sound really cool, and the venue is amazing, and you really come through for your fans with that.
Yeah, it's cool, and also it gives me an opportunity to be able to give like a different kind of platform to like, you know, bands on the up, bands
right.
that I like listening to, and that was definitely a proud moment for me, kind of watching on backstage, watching my fans listening to the bands that I love. It was
right.
cool.
Oh, nice. All right. So let's continue. Now, these are all coming up fan questions from Northeast PA, okay?
Love that.
All right, we got a couple of fans here that I'm going to be asking questions from today. So if I do say your name, how about a little wave, okay? Otherwise, let's get to it, all right? So one of the questions we got, and this is kind of a little light one too, was you expressed how much you love McDonald's in the U.S. So we need to know what's your go-to Mickey D's order.
I do kind of move around from the order, but if I was to order right now, probably a bit too early, but if I was to order right now, I'd go double cheeseburger, 6 nuggets, chips, maybe a milkshake.
Okay, that seems like a little bit.
Yeah.
And you like it though.
Yeah, I love it. Although the breakfast I'd say is the best.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
What about breakfast? You any kind of hotcakes or like sandwiches?
Sandwiches, those hotcakes. What are they?
I know.
We don't have those in England, nothing. What are they? They're like biscuit thing on the top. Is that them?
No, the hotcakes are like a pancake.
Oh, right.
Like,
right. Okay.
You know, more like a
We call it pancakes, but yeah.
Oh,
okay.
well. Right. Sorry. No, just kidding. So now we're going to get into a little more about the album. And because obviously this is a big deal, A Faith in the Future, November 11th. Like to get that in there. So let's dive right in. What were some of the easiest and hardest songs to get through on the album?
Bigger Than Me, as I remember on the day, actually was a relatively easy one. I'd say 9 times out of 10 when you've got a good song, you do find that momentum in the room, and it's not that the song writes itself, but you don't find yourself spending hours and hours over everything. You do kind of get that momentum. For whatever reason, the song on the album called Face the Music, it took the longest time. You can never really predict why. We didn't quite get the production right, but it took maybe 3 or 4 different goes, but we got there in the end.
Interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing the whole album. Bigger Than Me, I mean, a hit. Like,
thank you.
Like, that's putting it lightly, I think. That's on repeat. So amazing. How do you motivate yourself to write songs? How do you get ideas for songs? What inspires you? This one came from Tracy Clark. Tracy, where are you? Right here. So what inspires you?
Hello again. It can be really, really random. It's kind of, if you're out on tour, there might just be something that you see or something that reminds you of something that makes you feel nostalgic. Whatever that might be, you're kind of left with that feeling, and I'll often kind of go to my phone and just put some notes on. It doesn't necessarily have to be a song title, it might just be a concept that you find interesting, but normally just inspired by what you're around and what you see.
So your life events and...
Yeah,
that's interesting. I wish I had that artistic mind like that,
Sure
that
you do.
have something coming, you have something just coming up from just being somewhere. It's impressive.
Yeah.
Very nice. What style would you say this upcoming album is kind of all-encompassing, if you had to name a style or styles?
It's always a slightly difficult question to answer. I'm always striving for the most kind of organic sound possible. As with the first record, there's a lot of guitars sounds across this record. But I think as a whole, I always said I am a very honest lyricist, but actually I think the sound of this record is more honest to who I am as an artist.
We're getting an inside view of you on this album.
Yeah, I'd say
I love that. In what ways was your writing process for Faith in the Future different from writing Walls?
Well, I think I spent maybe definitely twice as long at least writing Walls. I definitely wrote maybe twice as many songs. This time round with Faith in the Future, I just had a much clearer idea of what I wanted and what I wanted everything to sound like. So it meant that I could be more clinical when I got in the room. I also spent a lot of time working with more artists as opposed to professional songwriters, and you just get a different kind of attention to detail, definitely.
What's been the most fun part of putting this album together?
I suppose the most fun part I haven't really experienced yet, and it's one everyone gets a chance to listen to it, because I've had this album now for at least 6 months, or at least the bulk of it. So now is the moment where there's just the anticipation of hoping that everyone likes it as much as I do.
Well, I'm sure that won't be a problem. I don't know. What's the most fun part of being a solo artist?
I suppose because it comes with more pressure, it means that when you get those moments of triumph, like when I walked out at my festival and looking around at what we'd created, you can take full ownership in that, and that's a pretty amazing feeling.
It is pretty amazing, yes. Okay, now another one we have, back to the new album. You have a lot of songs. I'm sure they're all your babies in their own way, but do you have a favorite child on the album?
Yeah, there's a song that I've said quite a few times called Silver Tongues. For whatever reason, I was really, really excited when we finished that song, and it's probably, out of everything on the record, I imagine that will be one of the best ones live. It's high energy, so I'm excited to perform that.
That's awesome. Now, we're talking about performing and touring. You just got done with a massive tour. What do you like best about touring? What are some of the locations you like to hit the most? Fan vibes, that kind of thing.
What do I like the most about touring? There is an element of this job where you're often trying to read between the lines and you're trying to work out what's what. What's amazing about tour is it's very black and white. You play the songs for people and you get a very instant reaction. And it's also the moment that you really see these songs come to life and see how important, each song is to each person in there. But also the lifestyle. Right. I mean, it's not the real world, right. On the best tour day, I'll probably get up at about midday, which is lovely. Kind of just suits my schedule more. So what time is it now? It feels fucking early already.
I mean, me too. So I can see what you're saying about the sleeping in. That's not bad. Speaking of touring and being out on stage, you're doing a lot of performances. What do you do to get yourself ready and psych yourself up to perform?
Don't really have any kind of ritual or anything like that. I normally try and take a little bit of time for myself just before the gig and just try and visualize and think about what it is exactly I'm about to do. But I don't really have any kind of routine as much, not really.
Interesting. Okay, we got another question from somebody here today. Lauren Hurst, Exeter.
Now then, you all right?
All right, Lauren, here it is. What's something you want people to remember about you?
Big question, that.
Right?
Big question. As an artist, my lyrics, hopefully, that would be cool. Lyrics are pretty important to me, so yeah.
Sing along?
Huh?
To sing along? No,
yeah,
I'm kidding. Yeah, but exactly. No, that's true. That's a good answer. What's one thing you've always wanted to tell your fans that maybe you don't get to always say in events like these or when you're on stage? I know, pressure.
It's hard because I'm not going to lie, I spend most of my times in these situations talking about how amazing my fans are anyway. I think the the moments that I get when, you know, there's not loads of people and you kind of get little individual moments with each fan, you can have a proper conversation. I kind of cherish those moments, so that's cool.
That's great. What's some advice you would give to your younger self looking back on how you came up and how your career started and is going? Or, you know, someone who's just starting their career maybe along the same lines that you did?
I would say trust your gut. There's always a lot of opinions, and some right, some wrong, but nobody knows who you are better than you, so I think just trust your gut and stick to your guns.
I like that. What do we think of that one, guys? Yes. All right, so let's go a little lighthearted after that one, where we went
cool.
deep. What songs are you listening to right now? Is there any special artist or album?
I keep shouting them out. There's an amazing band called Stone. They're absolutely amazing. They came down for the festival, and they've done a couple of support gigs with me as well. I think they're absolutely amazing. And also the Snuts, who again have done some support work with me. They're also amazing. So either of them, if you haven't heard them, go check them out.
Commit that one to memory, that's for sure. Now, as you're touring and going around, do you have a favorite place this past tour that you enjoyed the most? Or places, I guess, for that matter?
I'm just going to say everywhere, because as soon as I name somewhere, people will be like, but what about Milan? Oh, what about
Right. I guess when you're on the tour and you're having that vibe, really, either way, no matter where you are, some neat places?
Oh, I mean, listen, the travelling is unbelievable, but where I was lucky on this tour is, and I mean this, I'm not just saying the right thing, every single show had such an incredible atmosphere and energy. So, yeah, I was lucky for that, definitely.
That's amazing. If you could go back, looking back at your entire career and change one thing, is there any one thing that you would change and why?
I was going to be dead cliche and say, like, I wouldn't change a thing. But actually, there was some real questionable outfits that I wore in the first 18 months of being in the band, so maybe just erase those from history would be great.
That's fair. We all have those fashion choices that we look back on and it's like, ooh, what was I thinking? Yeah. Now, this one's a little more all-encompassing, but if you could change one thing about the music industry as a whole, is there anything that you would change?
Oh, that is a big question.
Right?
Less greed. There's too much fucking greed in this industry, so I'd say less greed.
We have a little, yes, there.
Thanks for that. Moral support in the corner, I like that.
All right, and then we have one more question, and then we're going to take a little break and get ready for some of the meet and greet.
Sounds good.
All right, so if you could tell me, are there any other things you expect to come out of this tour as far as with your fans, with your music, something that you would want everyone to take from it, from the new album and from the tour as kind of their lesson that they learned?
Well, I've said a couple of times there was a certain weight to my first album emotionally, and actually it was this second album, Faith in the Future, was written to try and kind of break away from that and create a real hopeful and exciting sounding record. So hopefully, you know, be it the songs or be it the gigs, just good memories.
Love it. What do we think, guys? So you've done an interview or two. You kind of nailed that.
Yeah, this is a slightly more unique one, but yeah.
Yeah, a little pink. It's very nice though, and we have a great crowd here. So thank you guys so much. Excellent. Again, guys, Faith in the Future. You can pre-order now. I'm sure you probably already have. Out November 11th. 11/11. Really easy to remember. Louis Tomlinson.
Thanks a lot. All right, see you in a bit.